I was mad that I was it, and I never even saw it coming. And then all the pieces started clicking into place. The late-night texts she always answered with a, "Just my friend," the phone on airplane mode when she stayed over, the way she dodged, serious talks about moving in or merging finances. I thought she was just taking her time. Turns out she was stalling and hiding. The next morning, I woke up like I hadn't just heard my entire relationship thrown under a bus. Got dressed, went to work, ate my sad desk lunch. You know, the usual. Except this time, I had a new clarity. Maria, she didn't get a text, didn't get a call, nothing. Full ghost mode. And guess what? She didn't reach out either. Not that day, not that night. Not even a, "Hey, everything okay?" Which told me everything I needed to know. Because if your boyfriend doesn't show up to pick you up like he said he would, and your first reaction is silence, that's not love, that's strategy. That's someone waiting to see how much they can still get away with. The first message came the next afternoon. Not from Maria, of course not, but from Ashley. Yep, the same Ashley who hosted the little bash Michael behind his back party. It read, "Hey, why are you being like this to Maria? She's really hurt. This is unfair. Unfair." That was the word that cracked me. I stared at my phone for a full minute, then finally replied, "How long have you known about the other guy?" Silence. I waited. 3 dots popped up, then disappeared. Then nothing. Boom. Truth bomb confirmed. No explanation, no backpedal. Just the quiet, shameful vacuum that follows when someone realizes they're exposed. I knew what came next. Girls, like Ashley, they don't sit on secrets. Within 10 minutes, I got the first text from Maria. "Babe, please talk to me." Followed by, that wasn't what it sounded like. It was just a joke. He's just an ex. There's nothing going on. You're blowing this way out of proportion. The classics, straight out of the Caught, red-handed playbook. She might as well have sent me a BuzzFeed quiz titled, "Which excuse matches your personality?" But I didn't block her. Oh no, that would have been too easy. I left every message on read. Let them stack up like unpaid parking tickets. No response. Just the little seen check mark next to each one. Trust me, silence has a way of making people talk even more. Then came the grand finale. The doorbell. It was around 9 p.m. I looked at the camera monitor. There she was, soaked from the rain, eyes puffy, hair all over the place. She looked like someone who just lost everything at a Vegas blackjack table. I let her stand there for a second, then pressed the intercom button. Go. Explain it to your golden ticket. Proposals are off the table. Her mouth open like she wanted to say something clever, but nothing came out. Then the crying started. First quiet, then dramatic, then desperate. I didn't open the door. I didn't yell. I didn't get pulled into the chaos. I just sat on my couch and listened to her cry like the background music to a movie I no longer wanted to watch. Funny how someone can disappear from your life, one sob at a time. She finally left after 20 minutes. No note, no slammed door, just footsteps squishing down the hallway. I never heard from her in person again, but I'd be lying if I said the messages stopped. Oh, they kept coming. Some days she played the victim. Other days she tried logic. My personal favorite was the one that said, "You were being insecure." That conversation wasn't even serious. Right, just your classic, "I'll dump my boyfriend for a richer guy" comedy bit. Hilarious. Maybe she'll take that act to open mic night. Look, I'm not saying I was the perfect man. I work a boring job, I overcook chicken, and I once accidentally told her mom that her casserole tasted like drywall. But I was solid. I was in it for the long haul. I believed in her. And she laughed at me behind my back like I was a clearance sale she was about to return. Worse, she never really apologized. Not in a way that meant anything. Just damage control. Like I was a PR crisis, not a human being. You'd think this is the part of the story where I cry into my cereal and vow never to love again. Nah, I'm good. I deleted our photos. Gave her stuff back. Well, most of it. I kept the hoodie. Not for sentimental reasons. It's just super comfortable and her new man doesn't deserve that level of cotton softness. A few weeks passed. No calls, no texts. Silence finally did its job. Her desperation burned out like a cheap candle. But here's the thing no one warns you about when you dodge a bullet like that. It still leaves a scar. You walk around like you're fine, but you start second-guessing everything. Like I found myself checking the mirror wondering, did I really look like a Plan B guy? Spoiler alert, no. I looked like a Plan A guy with a slightly crooked tie and excellent credit. If you're wondering how a guy ends up walking away from the woman he was planning to propose to, with the ring already picked out and hidden in his sock drawer, buckle up, because to understand that, we've got to rewind the tape a bit. Maria and I first met in high school. Back then, she was the girl who sat 2 rows behind me in English class and laughed at my dumb jokes about Shakespeare being the original ghostwriter. We weren't close or anything, just the kind of casual hallway fist bump type of connection. She was cool, easy to talk to, not the type to get sucked into high school drama. After graduation, life did what it does, moved on. I went to college, got my degree in finance, and started climbing the corporate mountain, more like a slippery hill at first. She apparently went into some kind of artsy gig, photography, I think. We didn't speak for years, until one random Thursday, I get a notification on Instagram. Maria liked an old photo of mine. It wasn't even a good photo. It was me in a rental tux at my cousin's wedding, holding a drink and trying way too hard to look like James Bond. But that like? It was the digital equivalent of someone lightly tapping your shoulder from behind. Naturally, I clicked on her profile. She looked great. Same smile, new city, artsy vibes all over the place. Something about it pulled me in. So I did the least chill thing possible and slid into her DMs 5 minutes later. What happened next felt like picking up a conversation we'd paused years ago. No awkwardness, no, so, what have you been up to? Small talk. Just jokes, stories, sarcasm, and a weirdly easy rhythm. I caught myself smiling at my phone like a teenager. You don't always realize how much you missed someone until they show back up in your life. We met up a week later. No expectations. Just coffee and a couple of laughs. But one coffee turned into a 3-hour walk around the city, which turned into lunch, which turned into, hey, let's do this again. We never had the talk. We just kept hanging out more and more until one day I realized all my free time was spent with her, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 3 years flew by. She met my friends. I met her parents. I knew exactly how she took her coffee, black, 1 sugar, and she knew that I hated overhead lighting like it was a personal enemy. We didn't live together yet, but her stuff slowly started to migrate into my place like a silent, cheerful invasion. A toothbrush here, a giant bottle of expensive shampoo I wasn't allowed to touch there. She was chaotic in a way that made life interesting. Always chasing some new gig, freelance shoots, gallery projects, whatever paid enough to cover her half of the rent. Me? I was your typical buttoned-up finance guy. Spreadsheets, quarterly reports, boring but stable. We had a plan, kind of. I told her I wanted to get promoted before proposing. Not because I needed to prove anything, but because I didn't want to walk into a marriage broke and burned out. When I get the raise, that's when I'll ask, I told her one night. She nodded, smiled, said, I trust you. And I believed her. Thing is, promotions don't always show up when you expect. Mine kept getting pushed. Corporate restructuring, a budget freeze, a new boss who liked playing kingmaker. Every time it slipped through my fingers, I'd look at Maria and say, just a little longer. I'm close. She kept smiling, kept believing, or so I thought. Then came that night. It was pouring rain, the kind that makes your jeans feel like wet cardboard. I'd just clocked out after a 10-hour shift, dealing with some client who thought fiscal responsibility meant hiding expenses. In a second spreadsheet tab, I got a call from Maria. Hey, she said, casual as always. I'm at Ashley's place. Can you swing by and pick me up? You'll be driving past anyway. Sure. No big deal. I even thought I'd be sweet. Surprise her at the door instead of calling from the car. I pulled up, ran through the rain, and stepped up to the porch just as I heard laughter from inside. Female voices. Hers, Ashley's, someone else's. No big deal. Until one voice, I think it was Ashley, asked, so when Michael finally proposes, What are you gonna tell your rich boy? Pause. Then Maria's voice. Please. I'm dropping. Michael's so fast he won't even know what hit him. I'm not sticking with plan B if I've got a golden ticket. Laughter. Loud. Carefree. Not one of them sounded uncomfortable. I didn't knock. I didn't go in. I just walked back to my car and drove off, windshield wipers barely keeping up with the downpour. I didn't scream, didn't punch the steering wheel. I just felt cold, and not from the rain. It wasn't rage, it was a kind of emotional power outage. That night, I sat in my living room, soaked through, and stared at the blank TV screen. Her words kept bouncing around in my head. Plan B. Golden ticket. I wasn't even mad she had a backup plan. Anyway, life moved on. Work picked up. I started hitting the gym again. Turns out, emotional betrayal is a great pre-workout. My buddy Dave from accounting set me up with a girl named Jenna. Totally different vibe. Funny, driven, called me out. When I wore socks with sandals. In my defense, laundry day hit hard. We started seeing each other casually. Nothing serious, but it felt refreshing. No games. No, let me disappear for 12 hours and say my phone died energy. Just two people eating tacos, talking trash during game night, and being adults. I was finally getting over Maria. Or so I thought. Cue the twist. One afternoon, I get an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a wedding invitation. Maria, and some guy named Tyler. No last name, no title. Just Tyler and Maria. At first, I thought it was a prank. Then I realized this was real. She'd moved on, fast, real fast. Olympic sprint speed. Either Tyler was her golden ticket, or she was just trying to prove something. Maybe both. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Attached to the invite was a handwritten note. Real ink, real paper, real ridiculous. It said, Michael, I know things ended badly, but I wanted you to know that I'm happy now. I hope you can be happy for me too. Tyler is great. He's stable, successful, and kind. I hope you'll come to the wedding. It would mean a lot. Always, Maria. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to laugh. The other part wanted to book a front row seat just to stand up when the priest asked if anyone objected and yell, check her group chat first. But I didn't. Instead, I did something way better. I mailed the invitation back, with one of those hotel key cards inside. No note, just the key card. From a weekend getaway Maria and I had taken to Lake Tahoe 2 years earlier. We'd kept it, as a joke. She called it our secret hideaway. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even petty. Okay, maybe 10% petty. It was just a little reminder that when you burn bridges, the past has a funny way of showing up. A few days later, I got a final message from her, one sentence. That was low. I didn't respond. I just smiled. Because yeah, maybe it was low, but so was throwing away 3 years for a better tax bracket. And you know what? That was the end. For real. She disappeared. No more texts, no more crying at my door, no more Instagram likes from ghost accounts. Just gone. Months passed. Jenna and I kept seeing each other. We're not picking out rings or anything, but when I told her the story one night over drinks, she laughed so hard she cried. Please tell me you didn't actually send the key card, she said. I raised my glass. Of course I did. You think I keep my petty in a drawer? Here's the thing. I'm not bitter. I'm not heartbroken. I'm not writing this from a dark room full of pizza boxes and sad playlists. I'm good. But I did learn 3 very real lessons from all this. Firstly, pay attention to actions, not words. Anyone can say, I love you, but not everyone will choose you when it matters. Secondly, long-term doesn't mean right. Just because you've invested time doesn't mean you owe someone your future. Thirdly, never be someone's backup plan. If they're not choosing you like you're the damn prize, you walk. No exceptions, no explanations. So, if you're ever sitting there, staring at your phone, wondering if the person you love is treating you like a placeholder, trust your gut. Because you deserve someone who laughs with you, not at you.